Welcome to War Games. We will get you ready for your next sales opportunity. Are you looking to win the sales battle? You have joined the right team. Here on the War Games Group, we take the strategies and mindsets from the most successful salespeople and share it with you. With our help, you won't have to fail your way to the top. When it comes to crossing the minefield of sales, step in the footprints of those that crossed before you. Prepare yourself for boot camp and beyond. It's time for War Games to begin.
Shall we play a game?
I think, yes, we shall play a game. Hi, Joe Ingram, your host of War Games. So thanks for joining us today. I am actually traveling. So as you look, you go, no, Joe, you're in your office. Well, yes, because I recorded this the day before. So yesterday, I decided what I want to talk to you about today. So you won't see a lot of comments pop up and down on the screen because I'm not here on Wednesday. But guys, here's what I want to talk about, because I'm going to make it real quick and easy for you, because I want you guys to understand something. I'm going to hit you between the eyes. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, how you feeling? Okay. Now, what I'm also going to tell you is I don't care. I don't care how you're feeling. Why? Because your bills don't care about how you're feeling. Your bills come in every month regardless of how you feel. And when you flip that switch in your head that says, I am going to work regardless of how I feel, you will get better results. And one of the things that I was reading an article from the Harvard Business Review, and one of the things that they were saying was, as far as salespeople lack consistency. And so the ones that go and make a huge impact in the sales world, or huge income in the sales world, they have consistency. So they have taken the part of the personality of a salesperson and tweaked it to say, I am going to do the things that, we don't want, I'm going to do the things that I don't want to do, and I will make it happen for myself because of that. And that's how you can see when a bunch of people come into a sales department, you see one of them just take off. It's because there's a system of accountability, either personal accountability or from the organization itself. So you're going to have to do that. And that's one thing I'm going to wrap around towards the end when I get there. But remember, today's going to be short, quick, and hit you between the eyes. So repetition is key. Now, repetition is key when it comes to learning something, and repetition is key when it comes to you actually saying, I would like to have a consistent paycheck. So look and say, are your actions equal to your check? And more often than not, they are. So if you aren't consistent enough, your income will not be consistent enough. So looking at that, I need you guys to stop for a second. I need you to sit down and say, ooh, I need to be something very, very consistent with what I do every day. And there's little life hacks you can go in and say, I'm going to change stuff. Okay, if you have a desk phone, I don't. But if you have a desk phone, then the first thing you should do when you're leaving the office is take your phone and set it right smack dab in the middle of your desk. So that when you come in the next morning, you realize, I got to make my phone calls before I start searching through social media, before I start looking for other things to do, but knock out some phone calls. So I had another salesperson who's in War Games, but reached out to me on Messenger, and he said to me, and his name's Austin. Austin said, hey, if I want to dial 100 dials a day, what do I got to do? And I said, you got to get your first 25 out in the morning. I said, seriously, you got to get the first 25 out in the morning, because that sets the tone for the day. Not that you're going to get a lot of response. Okay. If you're calling business to business, then great. You've got it, because people are at work and will answer their phone. But if you look and say, oh, if I'm calling into prospects, if I'm calling into someone who wants to buy my product, they may be at work. And so if you're doing business to consumer, then they may be busy, but you need to get those 25 dials out before you hit noon. Then do whatever you need to do till you hit 4:30. At 4:30, I want you to start dialing the phone. You should hit those other 75 between 4:30 and 6 o'clock. Why? People are driving home. And so my answer is, I don't want to work harder if there's a way to work smart and hard, so don't do the harder, do the hard. Just work hard, but work smart, and means leverage your time frames based on what things are going up. When I look and say people don't answer the phone between 12 and 2 or 12 and 3, then why keep dialing? Hit those 25 in the morning. Why? Because those people will call back during the day. So you'll have inbound traffic coming back. So I want you to get that inbound call coming back into you during those times, because again, they will set it up to say, oh, I need to call Joe back. And so when they do that, they'll call back during those times where most people aren't going to accept an inbound call because they're at work and they're fighting that energy crash that happens in the afternoon, and they don't want to talk to you. But when they get on the freeway to go home, guess what? Staring at the butt end of a truck means I'd much rather call and talk to somebody and what have you. And if you call into me, more likely I'm going to take that call. But use the same tip that I said before. Text them first. Hi, this is Joe with my company, right? I'll reach out to you later today. So then when you call them on their drive home, it says maybe Joe on their cell phone. And when it says maybe Joe, okay, it's a 41% chance they'll answer compared to 17%. So play the numbers, okay? Play the numbers so that once you know them, you can then tweak them. Because everybody else goes, yeah, it's a numbers game. No, it's a numbers game at 17%. You becoming educated means I now get to go and get more than double the response rate because I knew the numbers and I took an educated step to play them in my favor instead of just going, do more, you get more. Okay, that's what I want you to look at and say. So in this deal, guys, that's what we're looking at. So who cares about what you're feeling? Because your bills don't care. They come in every month, right? The repetition is key. Now, that was repetition for how are you going to make some phone calls and how do you get yourself to dial the phone first? Okay. And all of us have to do some kind of prospecting and hunting. So if that's the case, then turn off all your notifications. Turn off all the buzzes that go on off on your phone because you're going for an endorphin hit. You know what's a better endorphin hit? Talking to a prospect and closing a deal. So go out and do what needs to make you money first. Then go take a break. Okay. Use the little Pareto principle, right? It's a 80-20 rule. Do the 20% that's going to make you money, those income producing activities that's going to help you during that 80% when you can go play on social media and do what it is you want. So that's what I'm telling you. Now, here's something for you guys to understand. When it comes to learning a new skill and learning everything learning to stack your skills on top of each other, you can't listen to something once. So back in the day, I was in an MLM program, okay, and it was a fantastic self-help system that had a compensation plan attached to it. But what they did was they said, here is, now I will date myself with this, the tape of the week, okay? So the tape of the week, what was tape of the week? To me, it was like, oh, the tape of the week. You know what we need to do with the tape of the week? I listened to it that week. And then somebody came up to me and one of the other people said, you understand what tape of the week is for? And I'm like, yeah, it's the information everybody wants us to hear. So I'm going to go ahead and say my tape of the week is going to be that tape. And they said, no, it's tape of the week, meaning it's the only thing you're going to listen to for the entire week. So if you haven't listened to it front and back, okay, the whole in its entirety, every day for that week, then you don't get to turn on the radio and listen to the music. You don't get to turn on Spotify and listen to the music. So you should be listening to war games where you go, oh, that was great. Okay. You should be listening to that war game every day of the week until there's a new one. Okay. And if I keep them short and I'm trying to keep you in and out in under 30 minutes, and I've been doing pretty good at that. If I keep you in and out in under 30 minutes, do you know what that means? I mean, you're investing in yourself for a skill that will get you more money. And that's going to be 30 minutes a day. Now, if it's one of my how-tos where I say, hey, go over here, click on this, get this one, do that, right? All of a sudden, you could go stop for 30 minutes, sit down and play that out until you understand what you're doing. But I want every one of you to stop and think, how can I teach this to somebody else that isn't paying to be part of war games? How can I take that information? Do I know it well enough that I could teach somebody who's outside of it? Okay. That's what I want you looking for. And I want you saying, how do I take this information? How do I absorb it? How do I understand it? And then how do I teach it? That's going to give you something that nobody else has, which is taking the knowledge, right? Everybody, knowledge is power. No, it's not. Applied knowledge is power. You can sit and learn a whole bunch of stuff, sit in your basement and never come out, okay, and not benefit from it. And the world doesn't benefit from it. So that's what I want you guys to look at. Go in and do that. So here's this little card because I just redid my office. As you can tell, I now have a desk and it's all nice. Here's what I'm looking at. Lead magnet, offers, courses, group coaching, masterminds, one-on-one. I will tell you right now, I added the one-on-one back onto mine because it's been off of it for the longest day going, I don't want to do that. And then I have several CEOs that were like, okay, then train my company, but give me time too. And I was like, oh, you're sneaky because I have to do one-on-one while I do the group coaching for your team. Woo! These CEOs are smart. So I said, well, if I'm going to do one-on-one coaching, I'm going to open it back up. And that's not for you. We're all here in group coaching time. So look at this and tell me, right? Do you have a way for people to easily hand you money for your expertise? And are you taking the information you get here or anywhere and actually putting it into the repetition cycle enough for you to master it so that you can sit back and go, this strategy I know what to do. And so one of my specialties, and I know this because a lot of the people that I pay to be part of their mastermind, right? Those individuals go, dang, Joe, you are like, hey, done. I got this. And then you go and you implement. And I'm like, I don't have time not to. So again, I will sit down and say, what is it you want me to do? Tell me how to do it. Once you tell me how to do it, I will go do it right away so that I can be done with it. So I will be done. So I will learn it, master it, and then I will implement it and I will put it in play. So now it's sitting out there. Okay. I know several of you, I was just on Ron Siegel radio today. And one of the guys on there, he said, Ron and one of the guys, Josh, that does his studio producing, he was like, yeah, I started that launch cart thing. I used Joe's, link, the joinlaunchcart.com. And he goes, I went to go put my drop shipping store. I have a different one through a different company. And I just started it. And Ron said the same thing. He was like, yeah, and then it was like, And I'm like, dude, I sit down every other night and put in a product or two and something hits me. Okay. So I just put in the, the large or the mega pint, right? A pint is an actual number of ounces. So you can't have a mega pint or a small pint. Okay. You can have a half pint. Those are short people. But when you look at that, for example, Netta, my wife, she said, hey, she said, she started laughing. She was like, oh my gosh, did you hear the Johnny Depp trial that the attorney asked him, so you poured yourself a mega pint? And Johnny Depp was like, poured myself some wine. Yeah, but it was funny and people started commenting it. And then Justin Dangerously, or the guy on TikTok who always cuts in and goes, so did you know, blah, blah, blah. Now you do, right? He went in and said that, and somebody goes, oh no, that's just a mega pint on the, and I was like, boom. Okay, fine. I went and made 4 different t-shirts that have mega pint on it. And then I put it out on social media to say, here you go. Okay. Now, I got my launch cart store. I built it the way I could. I have a Shopify store. I have an Etsy store. In each one of those situations, I sat down and I built it. And I built it up and I got it to the point it was functional. Then I went out to Fiverr and I paid somebody to come in and make it look pretty the way I want, because they can invest time that I can't. But I know what it is I need to do. So once they fix it, I can't go, oh my gosh, I don't know what else to do. Okay. So on my Shopify one, I found some great lady with a whole entire team. And then once I paid for her to fix my store, so if you go to that one, you'll be like, wow, this looks professional. I could give you money. Okay. When I did it myself, it looked like, Joe's backyard website build. So I said, okay, fine. So I sold $300 and something with the broken system worth of stuff. And then I took and spent money to get it to be something that people will feel better spending money with. So go and do that. But I learned it first. I mastered it. I can teach anybody to go in and build this out. Okay. I taught my son So Nathan went in and he built his totally radical streetwear store. And I gave him the logo that we had made 5 years ago because he wanted to start a clothing brand. Boom. I told him, here, go do this, 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 and this. In an hour, he sent me a link to the sweatshirt he made. And he was like, Dad, it's up and running. And then all of his friends went and bought his hoodie and what have you. So he became an entrepreneur, but because he follows processes, it was easier. And all he did was say, what do I do? And then he can turn around and tell all of his friends, this is how you go build your own drop shipping place. Because why? My dad walked me through it. I know how to do it now. I can teach it. So learn to the point that you can actually teach it. Okay. Now, here is what I need you to go forward, because we're talking about consistency. We're talking about accountability. We're talking about this stuff. I want you to write out a job description of what it is you do. I need you to draw it out in such detail that you can sit back and say to yourself, I am going to replace me with another human being. And when I replace me with another human being, I can hand them this document and they will know what to do every day. So you got to put down everything. You got to put, where do you go find this information? Where do you go find this? What can you do about this? All of those things you need to put down. And then I do this at this time, this at this time, this at this time. I want you to build it all the way out. Get that whole entire job description built. Okay. You're going to build that entire job description. Then I want you to make a checklist. I want you to condense it down to here's the things you got to do based on which time of the day. So it's a daily work plan that comes from that. Okay. Now I want you to hold yourself accountable to hitting that daily work plan, because something that happens in every business, in every sales organization, every company I've ever gone into is a thing called process evaporation. What is process evaporation? All of a sudden we sit down and go, you know what? We should do this. And we go, we used to. Wow, we used to do that. And that solved that problem. Oh my goodness. Why did we ever stop doing that? Right now, you are shortcutting your own system that gets you success. And with that system that gives you success, you start shortcutting it, start getting shortcutted results. And then what happens is what? You wonder why you're not making enough money. For one, you're not being consistent enough. For two, you're allowing your emotions to determine what you do each day. Okay. 3, you have not absorbed all the information through enough repetition to get it into your head so that you can do it. You can't go on autopilot if everything is a brand new thing for you. Get it stuck in your head. If you get to the end of a week and you don't have it down, you're listening next week. Don't add something else until you've mastered something. Okay. The whole point of a mastermind, which is technically what we are doing. Okay. This mastermind is designed for you to master something in your mind. So we will open up your mind, show you something, and your job is to master it. And again, only take the pieces that make sense to you, that will make you money, that will help you to sell more. Okay. So once you get that down and you get that whole process done, then you can't skip on your own stuff. It will also be used later when we decide to take pieces out and send it to virtual assistants. When you look at that and you realize what's there and what slows you down that isn't income producing, then you can take that piece out and go pay somebody else to do it. Stop and look and say, how much money do I make if I close a deal? And then when you say that, go, great. Can I afford to take 20% of that and either run ads with it to get more leads? Or can I take that 20% and give it to someone who can do what I want and get it done for me so it frees me up to do the selling part more? Now, when you stop and say to yourself, if you need an assistant, call me. I have links to people, right? I have contacts with people. If you want to turn around and say, oh my goodness, Joe, I need to get this done. I need to do this. We need to free ourselves up. We need to free ourselves up. But if you don't know what to do, when you get a virtual assistant, what's the first thing they ask? So, what is it you need me to do? And you go, the stuff I don't want to do. No, you would simply go, I will send you the document and you will have the lines of what it is that's of your daily job description that you can hand over to that person. Then you start making more money. Then you free yourself up with more stuff. And then you automate as many processes as you can using the AppSumo stuff that we keep telling you to go back and look at. So that is today's war games. That is what you need to do, and you need to listen to it multiple times. And I know you haven't been. Okay, so get in there, listen to it some more. Okay, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I will be checking as I travel from Cali to Dallas to Houston, because Club Connects is launching their founders party down in Houston, because there's people down there. Jen has got a team of people. There's like 700 people in one group for the Club Connects group. And if you don't know what it is, go to clubconnects.com. When you get to clubconnects.com, click find my group up there. Boom, it'll bounce you over into the Facebook group that's there. Okay, join the group. It's based on your local community, and we're trying to help entrepreneurs, salespeople, and community goers to keep the money in their own community. So that means what? Today's episode was sponsored by Club Connects. So I hope everybody has a great day, and I'm going to tell you that this is the most simplest thing I can tell you, like I do every week. Go out and sell something. Thanks, everybody.